All right. Welcome out there. Happy Wednesday to everyone. My name's Joan Robison, and I've got top industry earner Sarah Zolecki here with me. We're going to give it just a minute and welcome those of you that are coming in. So Sarah and we were just having a little chat about life. And so as you're joining in, let's find out where you're joining in from. Go ahead and drop where you're joining in from in the comments. And we'll give it just a minute. Sarah, how's your morning been?
It's been awesome. I'm super excited to be here. Hi, everybody. Yeah. My goodness, we're going to have such a good time today and excited to pour into you guys and just help you kind of have a breakthrough. I know we're all looking for different breakthroughs at different stages in our career and our life. And I know I am. I'm always chasing that. And I pray that you'll have one here while we hang out together.
Yeah, for true. All right. Well, I see people checking in, looking good out there. So, guys, let's go ahead and get started. So, first off, for those of you that are in my community, if you're new to the community, I want to just take a moment and welcome you. So thrilled that you've chosen to get into the Flip the Switch community. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube or perhaps a business page, I will drop the link in the comments, but the link to the community is also running across the banner. So be sure that you get in there as I continue to expand my brand. We'll have things like free giveaways of my book, Flip the Switch, and also lots of giveaways this week, Black Friday, for Ignite the Light cards. So
awesome.
Ignite your light. And actually, Sarah, you're getting a box of these in the mail to you for being my guest. So.
Yay! Oh, that's awesome. I love gifts.
These are super fun. Okay, you know what we're going to do just to kick us off? I'm going to let Sarah share her story and whatnot, but let's do a card. I'm going to do a little shuffle.
Okay,
and
awesome.
Sarah, you can just tell me, whoa.
Should I just say stop when you're done? When I'm ready?
Let me get a little shuffle going here. Yeah, you just go ahead and tell me when to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll flip this card. Oh. Boy, I bet you and I could both speak on this, right?
What is it?
Will use my past experience to learn and grow.
Oh, wow, that's so good.
I'll take a minute to read this, and then Sarah, I'm going to have you share on it, then I'll introduce you. How's that? All right. Perfect. I am unable to see the gift of today when I live in the past. My world becomes a repeat cycle of yesterday. The past is a nice place to visit, but it's a terrible place to live. I will choose to be grateful for the past and use my experience to strengthen me today. Flip the switch. I will focus on the beauty and love that is in front of me today. Be present, be grateful, and be the light. So, Sarah,
that's so good.
Being almost Thanksgiving tomorrow. What do you have to say on that?
Well, I think it's so important. I look at, I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. So I've been in the profession 25 years, right? Long time. I've been with 3 companies. My 3rd company I've been with now for almost 9 years. But I think one of the things that I struggled with for a long time was, every little mistake that I made in the business, which if you're brand new and you're watching, you're going to make a lot. But what's so cool is this business pays you a lot of money for making a lot of mistakes. So it's not a bad thing.
Right.
But I focused so much on all the mistakes that I made. And so I always was looking in the past versus just being fully just loving on the present. Right. And one of the things that I taught myself that just helped so much, and I teach my team, is every night when I go to bed, there's 2 things that I do. Number one, I say, what's one thing that I'm proud of? Right. Now, one thing that I did wrong, right? Because that's what we usually go to, but what's one thing that I'm proud of? Right. Mm-hmm. And being very present. And then the second thing is, what is one thing that I learned today?
Yeah.
What did I learn? Right. And every day I do those things, and I actually journal and I write them in a book, and it's so good because I look back at oh my gosh, look at all the things that I've done in my life and all my learning experiences, right? That's helped me get to where I am. And so I just loved it. Yeah.
journaling, right?
Yeah. So I just think that like just deciding to be, present in every day. I think, for me sometimes too, Joan, what was interesting is I was so focused on, the grind of our business and like having to get to that next rank and whatever, that I was missing all the beautiful things every day that was happening in my life, right? That I wasn't being in the present moment. And so for me now, like I am fully present because I'm very aware of it. And I
Right.
focus on that every day. And I just love that you flipped that card, because that is definitely how I live my life now.
Well, what's interesting? You just said something that spoke, to me directly, because I remember a good 10 years had passed being in the industry. And don't get me wrong, I love this industry, been here since 2001, and I love all of the benefits that it gives, but I recognize something, and you just said it. I was always shooting for the next rank, the next goal, the next this, and I also was not really living in the present. So then, and what I would call enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
Even the ups and downs. It was kind of like just driving, and not appreciating, if you will, kind of the views along the way. And I mean, I came really to a point where I said, I didn't realize I was even doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So today, and, over the last really probably 5+ years, I've been able to be, like you said, a lot more aware. So
Yeah.
it's a good lesson for all of us, because I think that human nature looks to what we don't have, what's not happening, what's not happening fast enough. And we have to discipline ourselves, literally train our minds to do like what Sarah said, like her nightly ritual. It doesn't probably take her hours and hours, but
No, it takes me 3 minutes.
right? But it's a definite discipline that you do that keeps her focused on what is going well, what went right, and how can she take and learn from that to move forward. I love that. Thanks for sharing. Well, all right. So what I really want to know, Sarah, is you are really known as one of the world's top network marketers. You and your husband have built a huge empire, and I would love for you to share a little bit about your story with my community out there, and just, keeping in mind that there's so many leaders that I know it can be challenging and whatnot. And I know you have had your challenges. So share a little bit with the group about your story. Love to hear.
Well, first of all, Joan, I want to thank you so much for having me be on. It's been so fun to get to know each other. And I think that's the beautiful thing about our profession, is just the friends that you meet, right? And the amazing relationships that a majority of the people in my life, like I would have never met if it wasn't for this amazing business, right? So first of all, I just want to thank you so much for having me be on. And guys, I am the girl next door. You're going to realize that very quickly. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You probably can tell from my funny accent. Every once in a while, it pops in there. My husband is from Milwaukee. We have 2 little kids. We have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. So for those of you moms and dads that are watching and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I make all this work while I'm raising kids, right? And running a household and maybe working a career, and now you're doing your business. I've been there. I have definitely been there. And I'm actually in the thick of it right now. And I start, like I had mentioned earlier, I was introduced to this business when I was 21 years old. I really had no business being in business. I was a nanny. I had no college education. I absolutely fell in love with the profession. My boyfriend at the time introduced me to the business. He had actually been involved for about 4 months, Joan. And what's crazy is that he never had me on his list. He never talked to me about the business. I had no idea about this business of network marketing that he was involved in. And his sponsor at the time kept saying, you know what, you should talk to your girlfriend. Like, you have a girlfriend, right? Like, you should talk to her. And I don't know, for whatever reason, he thought I would never, ever want to do this business. So first kind of golden nugget I want to drop right now is, guys, all of you have Sarah Zoleckis that are not on your list, that for one reason or another, you're like, she'd never want to do it. He'd never want to do it. And so finally, he introduced me to the business. And second tip I want to give you is don't ever cross people off your list, because I canceled on him for 4 times. The fourth time I finally looked at the business. And again, people ask me, they're like, well, why did you cancel? And you know what? I don't know. 25 years ago was a long time.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I canceled. I don't know if I had to work late. I don't know if I got a flat tire. I don't know if I was sick. I don't know if I was just stubborn and I just didn't show, right? Because so many of us have been invited to a party or whatever. We just don't show up, right? Or we think, oh, they won't care that I'm not there,
Right.
because other people are coming. And so finally, I came and I looked at the business and I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I didn't understand anything about how to make money. I am not a numbers girl, but I fell in love with the people, Joan. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I like this. This feels good. Like I want to be a part of this. And quite frankly, at the stage where I was at in my life, I, wasn't going to college. Most of my friends were going to college or already graduated. I was working as a nanny just because I'm the oldest out of 4. And so I thought, well, gosh, why don't I like take the skills that I had to do my whole life of helping, raise my brothers and sisters and like make some money. And so I really just wanted to be somebody. Guys, as crazy as that sounds, I didn't sign up in network marketing to become a multimillionaire. I didn't sign up I really just signed up because I was like, I want to prove something to somebody that I can do something. And that is why I'm involved. And it's interesting. It's been an amazing adventure for me. It's way harder than I ever thought it was. When I joined the business, I was like, this is awesome. And then I realized, holy crap, I gotta work. Oh my God, this is hard. This is a lot harder than I thought. And really the reason that it was hard is that I had a lot of insecurities. Some of you guys are watching, you might have insecurities of fear of success or fear of failure or whatever. What are my friends going to think? Or I don't even know, right? Just whatever, all the stuff that we tell ourselves. I unfortunately had a lot of stuff. I had a lot of stuff here. And I had to work through it. And I definitely went through, the school of hard knocks. But, a lot of you guys have heard of the name Jim Rohn, and he was one of my mentors for afar from a long time. And I actually finally got to meet him. I met him one time before he passed away. And one of the things that he has shared many, many times is he's like, guys, the greatest thing about network marketing is that there's just a few fundamentals to learn. And once you got it, you got it.
Right.
So I was always encouraged by that over the years. And, it's been an awesome adventure. And here I am, 25 years later. It's crazy.
Right? Isn't it wild? Well, 2 things. I got to make a comment. I bet you that boyfriend today, if he knows you and sees you around, he's like probably kicking himself, because imagine. No.
You know what's crazy? He quit. And this is the part I forgot. So some of you guys that are watching are like, oh my God, I need a good sponsor, or I need my spot, you're looking up your sponsor to do everything. Guys, listen, you need to learn how to be self-motivated in this business, because my sponsor quit 2 weeks in. I could give a crap. Like it didn't matter to me. I was like, I knew what I wanted. My sponsor didn't pay my bills. My sponsor didn't have the same dreams I did, or the same vision. It's yours. It is yours. And, I know he's living here still in the cities, and I don't really know. I think we're actually friends on Facebook. He probably doesn't follow me, but
I say it as a joke, because I think in this industry, what I've recognized is there's so many good people. They join with some kind of, desire, right?
Yeah,
and when it gets tough, that really separates those people with the tenacity to kind of keep moving forward. And like, you know what, it's too much. And then all of a sudden, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not this, I'm not that, which, hey, I always honor what anybody's choices are. But I think often people will quit too soon. And, and that's why I'm joking. Of course, and Tony, you guys have built such a
thank God I didn't stay with that guy.
Right.
Thank God. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine my life without Tony, because we've been married, 17 years now. We've been building a business together for almost 20 years. It's crazy.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, that's
what I mean.
crazy. Well, let's move into the topic. So before we do though, guys, if any of you have ever felt like that, like you felt kind of out of your comfort zone. Sarah said, gosh, I had a lot of fears. I know for me, that was the biggest challenge was in those first years, really understanding that I had to overcome myself in a lot of ways because a lot of the fears that I had was holding me back from helping and serving more people. I got in fear about, offering the opportunity, or I was in fear about doing reach outs. Because, of course, where I was, working at Nordstrom and in that environment, people were coming to me. So I had to really flip my own switch on being of service and knowing that as a leader, an entrepreneur leader, I'm the initiator. I'm the reacher outer, if you will.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love
So,
that.
okay, well, today we're going to talk, and with this being Thanksgiving week, about really a leader's greatest gift. Like, what can a leader really give her team? I mean, here's what I recognize. I think that the majority of people that join an industry like this work full-time other jobs. There's second streams of income, and most people, unless they've had experience or been in the industry before, they've got busy lives, right? So they're coming over here, and maybe they've got a person or two, or maybe they've got a large team, and it's like, Joan, how do I divide my time? Really, what is the gift I can really give my team? And to me, I just wanted to kick off by saying, I thought about this because there's no wrong answer. There really is no wrong answer, but there's something that stood out to me, meaning the kinds of people I like to follow. So the first thing that came to mind is passion. If I don't have passion as a leader, who the heck's going to want to follow me? I got to have passion. I got to ignite that heart part of me. And I've got to be into what I'm doing, not like toe in, like both feet in, right? So to me, passion and then consistency, showing up, saying what I mean, meaning what I say, and leading by example with whatever my company's plan is, so that's the personal business. And those two things really stood out to me. But Sarah, what about you? What do you think when it comes to the greatest gift that a leader could give her team? What are some of the things that ring true to you?
Well, I love this topic, and it was so great because you actually just sent this to me this morning, and I'm glad that I didn't get a chance to really think about it. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. So there's two things. Number one, I think the greatest gift that you could give your team is a gift of confidence for them. And there's so many different ways that you can do that in your team. Because if your team, if you're new people, even your people that are seasoned, if they feel confident, guys, they're going to go out there and they're going to crush their business. And there's so many ways that you can do that, from when you first enroll them to just, the different phases of the business and so forth. So we could talk a lot about that. But the second thing is a little bit tied into what you said about the leading by example. The one thing that Tony and we always share with our team and our leaders is we let them know, we're like, guys, every single day you have to earn the respect of your team. Never fall into feeling entitled, never fall into the, I've arrived or I made it, but it's really earning that respect. And the way that you earn that respect is, like you said, it's leading from the front, being a consistent person, being that person that's reliable, that people go, she's back to back with me. She's my number one fan. She's in my corner. She's like, you know what I mean? Like, they need to see that, quote unquote, like, you're the Pied Piper, you're taking them to the promised land. Right. And so I just feel that part, for us, it is just so important. Like, every day we tell ourselves, we're like, we have to earn the respect today. So what are we doing to drive our business forward? What are the things that we want our team to be doing? Like, they need to see us in full action doing it. Because that really, at the end of the day, I mean, you can teach and train your team all these things, but they're going to do what you do, period.
Right. Agreed.
And what does that actually look like?
Yeah. And, in order to really help somebody in network marketing overcome challenges, overcome themselves, if I haven't done it, then how am I going to help? It's kind of like if I'm, going to well, this is a bad example, but if I was going to get a divorce, I don't want to go to a counselor that's never went through a divorce. I want to go to somebody that has experience in that challenge. So if I'm not doing the work that I am talking to everybody else about doing, then I don't even know that I would have confidence to be able to help them, you know? So I think that words are words. And I think that experience is truly a huge gift that we can give our team. So let's talk a little bit more about confidence.
Okay.
And because I really like that. I think that we so often as leaders, we look at people and we can see things in them that they don't see in themselves. And we believe in them often before they believe in themselves. So share a little bit more on that, Sarah.
Well, I think it's important that we equip our people, right? So no matter what level they come at, if they come in and they're super successful already, or whether they've never had any success, like I always tell my guys, I treat everybody exactly the same, no different. So when someone comes on board, the one thing I share with people is I'm like, it is not our job to make someone become successful, but it is our job to get them started right.
Yep. To set them up for this.
Right. To set them up to win. So, I also look at it's like, when you bring a brand new person in, your number one goal, right, should be how fast can I help them get a win? And a win doesn't necessarily need to be a sale or a customer or a brand new person to join the business. It could be this is like they're doing a reach out to someone that they were so scared to do, right? Or maybe they're not really savvy on social media and they do their first real post, or maybe they do their first reel, or maybe they, right? Because remember, like people are at so many different stages, right? When they join network marketing. And so I'm always thinking about like, how can I instill just a little bit of confidence in somebody to help them take that next step, right? It doesn't have to be that next leap, but just that next step. So in your mind, you need to be thinking like, how can I be equipping and instilling in these people just to keep taking the next step forward, right? And the next step forward and the next step forward. And so, one thing I do feel is very important is that when someone is brand new and they start, you have to manage their expectations. You can't just, throw them in the amazing system of your company and just be like, hey, go get them. Like you have to equip them. Right. So, helping them set their goals. Right. So if they've got a goal, they want to make $3,000 their first month, but yet they can work the business 1 hour, a day. Like realistically, how is that going to happen? It's not. Right. So being able to help adjust that for them. So they are, you're setting them up to win right away, but also let them know you're going to have great days and you're going to have not so great days. And I always ask people, Joan, when I bring a brand new person on, I'm like, hey, listen, how do you want me to treat you? What do you want me to do with you when you want to throw the towel in?
Yeah.
When you want to quit, how should I handle you? What do I ask them? I don't just go, hey, this is what I'm going to do now. I ask them, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to work with you? How do you think I can work with you best when that happens? And they tell me, so then I know, right? When they have a bad day or they have got their best friend joins and then they quit a week later, or buyer's remorse, they quit the next morning, right? That's going to happen because it's a people business. How do you want me to handle that? And so you're instilling confidence in them right away. Number one, with you as a leader, where they go, oh my gosh, these guys have my best interest at heart. But also you're equipping them to start running a business where most people, they don't even understand that concept of being an employer versus being the employee. And so I tell people, you got to slow people down before you can speed them up in this business. And so even just those little steps in the very beginning with people, that's what creates a stickiness, right? I tell people, if you want to create a team where they're not going to look left or right, they're not going to jump to another company. The people in my team that I personally enrolled, they're sticky in my business because I took that time in the beginning and helped them manage their expectations and help them take little steps to create these wins. And I tell people like the wins are kind of like, if you imagine like a chain link, right? You got all these links, every single one of those wins creates this chain link that creates this like just strength of confidence in people.
I love that.
Where they just don't waver, right? So don't be afraid to go, every little thing, like the details, right,
Yep.
are so important. I think sometimes people just skip over that part, and I just don't do that because I want these guys around long term. I want
Yep.
them around 10 years,
Sure.
15, 20 years later. I think that's just super important when it
Yep.
comes to instilling confidence in your people.
I do. I'm with you, and a lot of the things that you're sharing is confirming that I'm on the right track too, because I do some of these very things. I want to go back to onboarding because this really does go right into the confidence that you shared with people, and I love that. I heard it said. I believe Rob Sperry said, when people join a network marketing business, it's like they're on life support just right away, right in those first 24 hours. Now, meaning they need care and attention. They're the most important person in the room. And I am with you. I find out what was it that had you so excited that made you want to say yes? What was it that you really want, or what is it that you want to achieve? Before I go anywhere into goals or anything, I want to know what has them on fire. I want to know what, even if it's something small, even as I'm using, open-ended questions to draw it out, because like you said, if I don't know what they want and how they are envisioning things moving forward, I can't set them up for a goal. It doesn't even make sense. And the other thing is these wins, it was taught to me early on that urgency is synonymous with wealth. And wealth doesn't always mean money, but I love the chain link that you said, because it really anchors people in, giving them the win, meaning when they're winning, they're not in fear.
Yeah.
So if someone signs up and I say, oh, okay, well, we'll go over this stuff tomorrow or in 2 days, I'm really, as the leader, allowing this time in between for that person to sit in fear and perhaps no win. So I think getting them into action also, and as they win, that is building the confidence.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you've ever, gosh, Eric Worre had mentioned this quote a long time ago, and I just never forgot it. And I think it was by, oh gosh, he wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
So in there, one of the things that and I can't remember what chapter or what this, where this was, but he said that this quote is so good. It says, chains of worry are forged in idle moments.
Say it one more time.
Chains of worry are forged in idle moments. So
Ah,
basically what that means is that, and it piggybacks on what you're saying about activity. If you are an activity in your business, you're not worrying about your business. But for those of you that are listening right now or watching, if you are worrying about your business, worrying about not having enough people to talk to, worrying about whatever, blah, 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 9 times out of 10, you need to stop and ask yourself, are you an activity?
right.
And guess what the answer would probably be? No.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, whenever I eat, and it was such a good learning lesson, even to this day, if I catch myself worrying, Joan, about anything, immediately my trigger is, Sarah, are you an activity? And it's like, nope. And I immediately shift, go in that.
And move into activity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I also love, Sarah, that there's, these are little tips. I mean, I have down like 6 little gem tips here that I can take and I can train my people with this too. So that whole duplication, like Sarah's given us some amazing tips, that you can literally take out and share with your teams as leaders. I mean, these are all really, in my opinion, wonderful gifts. Sarah, if you were going to just, speak to that mid-level leader, and let's say that mid-level leader is feeling like, okay, I've got my personal business, I've got the team business, and she's wondering, how much time do I spend with my team, and what do I really do with the team at that point? Mid-level leader, kind of getting into getting into where there's kind of a balance thing there, and it's dependent on her or him. But what kind of suggestions might you give?
Well, I think it's important. This is where time management comes in, right? Because even a mid-level leader, they're still working a career, right? A lot
Right.
of times, or raising
Yeah.
kids too, and there's a lot of stuff happening, and so the time management piece is important. I think you know it's important to take in for a team every month to find out who are the people that are really active, right? Meaning showing up on the Zoom calls, participating, doing the working, even if they're not getting all this activity, like even if they're not like rank advancing like crazy or getting, getting all these like wins, but they're doing the wins, meaning like the activity piece, like those are the people that are hungry, right?
Mhm.
And so it's important to look at like who are the people that are willing, meaning they're doing the work. Who are the people that are hungry, meaning they're showing up, right? Who are the people that are teachable, meaning they're like following this system, and if you're given assignments or whatever, you're like they're doing it, right? Those are the people that you're like, okay, you need to put, those are the people on your list that you need to be giving a lot of attention to. Now all the other people doesn't mean you don't keep loving on them and what have you, but you're not giving that individual time to those guys, right? You just can't.
Right.
And so, so for me, I know I focus on, okay, so here's inventory of these guys I really need to work on. The rest of the guys, they're going to see me on the team Zooms or the huddles or what have you, right? So they're going to still get the love. And then from there, then obviously I need to still be prospecting, right? I still need to be bringing in the brand new people. And, the one thing that sometimes I think is hard to understand, but I tell people, like, if you're focusing on the next rank for your business, typically you're not going to get there with your existing team. Even if your team is awesome, you've got to be able to bring on another brand new person that can create some more extra volume or what have you, that can get you to that next rank. And so because of that, as a leader, you also need to be focusing on, investing in relationships, building friendships, what have you, to introduce the business to more people as well. And so, even for Tony and I, as long as we've been in this business, like what I shared with you is that is what I do every, whether you're a mid-level leader or high leader or whatever, or just getting started, like I'm still doing that same thing on a monthly basis, with my team. And I think it's important too, as a mid-level leader, I was a mid-level leader for a very long time. I'm talking probably a decade. Okay. 10 years too long. But I think one of the challenges for myself is that, I don't know, maybe even, and I'll just say it for myself, I hate to say it for all women, because I feel like that's stereotyping, but I think that, for me, my personality is very much like nurturing and mothering and, taking care of, and what was happening is I feel like I was almost suffocating. Now that I have been able to step back, this was again 10 years ago, back and look and go, oh my God, I was like mother henning my team to death. I was allowing them to skin their knee and get back on the bike, and you know what I mean, like giving them that gift of like being able to push through and create their own confidence, right? And so I feel like for a lot of people in my business too, like I wanted them to succeed so bad, and I wanted them more than they did as mid-level leaders. So my time was spent in the wrong place, because I was trying to drag these people over the finish line that, quite frankly, didn't want to get to the finish line.
Right. I get that. And you know what? You touched on something that I wrote about in my book. I talk a lot about this, the balance of head and heart, because every person, no matter who they are, leans toward one way or the other. Some people are more head, and it's not right or wrong.
Yeah.
They're more skill-based. They're more, task, boom, 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 boom. And then there's others that are more heart-centered. And they're the nurturers, they're the caring. And I point this out. People buy 7 times more on emotion. Well, the heart is the emotion. So if people are buying you, people that are completely skill-based and task-oriented, they've got to warm up their heart.
Yeah.
But then if we've got people, I would say I lean more toward a heart place as well, probably similar to you. I got to make sure that I'm not so hard that I'm enabling, like you said, right? Mother henning. And I know I've given a lot of time sometimes to the wrong people. Not that the people aren't good people.
Totally.
But like you said, trying to, practically like carry them on my back. And that doesn't work. And I had to come learning that over time as well and find the balance.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, the more you grow in the business, you know, the
Yeah.
more things that you experience in the business, right? Like off that card you talked about, I just love that.
Yeah.
Is the experience is what makes you better. Like I just learned, like I feel like I'm half now. I'm half head, half heart, just because I've grown. And I also realized too, Sarah, like you need to be that head. You can't run away from that anymore. If you really want to grow a business, you got to make a decision. Like, Sarah, do you want to grow a multi-million-dollar business or do you want to hang out here because it feels warm and fuzzy? You know what I mean? Warm and fuzzy doesn't pay your bills.
Right. Yeah, right.
I had to get to that point. And so
And
now,
then there's that, right?
I feel like I'm a good, healthy middle, but that just comes from years of experience and learning and understanding how our business works.
Yeah. Well, gosh, Sarah, I want to again thank you. I know you're a busy woman. You're all over. I think you have 5 different Zooms today.
I know, what an honor we get to do this, though. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. And you just shared so many incredible tips and just such a wealth of knowledge. So I want to thank you for being here. For those of you that are hanging out here, I want to give you just a little bit. Oh, wait a minute here. Okay, we've got a winner. We've got a winner.
Oh, cool.
Wyatt, you have won a copy of my book, Flip the Switch. So, Beth, we're going to get that right out to you.
Congratulations.
Right? Good job, Beth. And I want to just make mention now, if you have not joined the community, again, the group link is going to be in the chat and running across the bottom here. So hop into Flip the Switch. What you're going to experience in there is, free trainings. We're going to have tons of different freebies as we move into 2023 and lots and lots of community and interaction all around building leaders, strengthening yourself, and really strategy and duplication. So Sarah, again, I want to thank you so much and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. We're so grateful for all of you.
Okay, guys, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.